if Rishi hadn't actually conspired to bring down Boris, when we're only 2 to 4% behind in the polls, we're now down to about 17% or even 30%. If he hadn't actually connived to bring down Boris, like a sort of Tory Macbeth, then we wouldn't be in this situation. And that was down to treachery. It's about party democracy. It's about it re-empowering the members. We're arguing for a number of changes to the constitution to put the members back in charge. We're getting too much central direction from central office, and members are being not listened to and overridden. And this, I'm afraid, drives activists away, and it doesn't help in things like local elections, where we've had a disastrous result, very sadly, with 1,000 hardworking councillors turfed out.
And you see that being the result of too much power centrally in the party rested with Rishi Sunak. So basically, you blame him.
I do blame Rishi Sunak, I'm afraid. The point is we should have made gains this time, not 1,000 losses, because 4 years ago, it was even worse. It was 1,269 councillors, not 1,000, just over 1,000 this time. It's actually a reflection, I'm afraid, of the lack of leadership at the top. Conservative members are furious at this. We're paying a very heavy price. We're losing the Red Wall. We're losing seats in True Blue territory. Bracknell, for example, lost 27 councillors. And there needs to be a reset of policy. And if Rishi can't do that, then yes, we need to look at alternatives. Certainly.
Reset in policy in which way? Because the policy, as stated at the moment, is, well, in terms of the headline things, it's about getting inflation down, cutting waiting lists in the NHS and the rest. It's not necessarily about what those policies are. I think everyone can get on board with that. It's just about whether they're delivered or not, surely.
Well, what we mean is about turning back to conservative values. What do we actually stand for as conservatives? A lot of people don't know. A lot of voters don't know. And what we should be saying is we believe in cutting taxes to give people a chance to help businesses, free enterprise, a small state, not tell people what to do all the time. And that is not what's happening under Rishi, I'm afraid. He's not addressing any of that. And I think there needs to be an urgent look at this, and we need to get back to true conservative policies. We've got just over a year till the election. It's probably going to be autumn next year, as they think, and we can get it right. But if Rishi's not up to that, then we need another leadership contest. And I personally, not CDO, but I personally would like to see Boris back because he's an election winner.
You mentioned there that cutting taxes is one of the things that you'd like to see the party return to. Of course, there was a real-world live experiment in that last year, and that didn't end well, did it?
Well, that was a good budget. And what the problem was that it came at a time the Bank of England was not actually raising interest rates that it should have done. And the Bank of England's got away with murder in its own ineptitude. And then you had these things called LDIs, which I've never heard of within the pension world, within the city, which actually dramatized it all. It was another sort of problem that, unfortunately, we saw in 2008 with the financial crisis. Yes, I think it was overhyped, the budget, and it did lead to problems. That's certainly the case. And there was a price to pay for that. That's true. But the point is, if Rishi hadn't actually conspired to bring down Boris, when we're only 2 to 4% behind in the polls, we're now down to about 17% or even 30%. If he hadn't actually connived to bring down Boris, like a sort of Tory Macbeth, then we wouldn't be in this situation. And that was down to treachery, and it was down to just naked ambition, I'm afraid.
How do you, there's only so much you can read into local election results in England in terms of a general election that could be still 18 months away, but how are you feeling about your party's chances come a general election, whenever it is? Ian Duncan-Smith, for it is he, is in the Telegraph this morning, basically saying the Conservatives can still win the next election if they get back to delivery on the policies as already laid out.
Well, I respect Ian Duncan-Smith a great deal. He's a very sensible politician, has a great view of things. It is true. I think we can pull it off. But we need to get back to those conservative policies, because people are saying, well, what's the point of you? You just put up taxes, you just want more and more control over our lives. And that's not what Conservatives should be about. Free speech, free expression, free enterprise. What's happened to those things? So we need a long, hard look at ourselves, because as I say, we should have had gains this time, and we've had a meltdown on top of a disaster 4 years ago. This does have major implications for the general election, and a lot of MPs will be picking up their P45s if they're not careful. And they need to actually ask a lot of hard questions. And Rishi needs to take responsibility. Hasn't even apologized, as far as I'm aware, to all those councillors who've lost their jobs. It's outrageous. There wasn't a great campaign either.
Can I just
absent.
I just want to briefly read you a text which someone's sent us in. John in Cheshire has got in touch to say, I just want your reaction to this, David. He says, this summer's events show that the Tory membership need to be kept a million miles away from choosing leaders. The current government woes stem from Johnson and Truss. Bannerman is part of the problem, not the solution. This is all a gift to Starmer.
Well, I mean, we've heard these nonsense arguments before, I'm afraid. Look, these people don't want democracy. They want to control everything. They don't believe the members. They think the members are stupid, that they don't know what they're doing. That's not the case. Members are hardworking people, representatives of their local communities. They're teachers, they're taxi drivers, they're doctors, nurses, businessmen, and women. And it's, those members deserve a voice. And we have a conference 13th of May, this coming Saturday, down in Bournemouth, which will address a lot of that and say, what should we be doing next? And, let's put the members back in charge, because I'm afraid this grown-up government isn't working out so well.
Thanks very much for your time this morning. David Campbell Bannerman, chair of the Conservative Democratic Organisation, a former MEP, as I said, and as he was laying out there, wants to see quite a shift in the Conservative Party off the back of these local election results in England last week.